So in today's video, I just wanted to share some of the big mistakes that I've made, and I do believe that they have the direct impact on the growth of the plants or the lack of, and actually some of my plants ended up dying. So the first thing is lack of consistency when it comes to watering. Probably you'll notice some of these guys at the top, they seem to be dry. They're really not dry, it's just the mix on top. It didn't absorb water. And one of the reasons is I didn't water them as often as I needed. So for instance, if you look at this one, this is definitely dry. And this is how dry they got. Some of them actually, they ended up kind of looking like that. I lost the entire thing here. If you look at this one, this is what I'm dealing with. So definitely you want to be consistent when it comes to watering. Um, the other problem that I have, my watering method, I really need to change that. So I'm actually thinking of planting different seeds and doing it differently. And this takes me to the next point. I water from the top down. So I pour my water on the mix. But I don't have holes at the bottom of the paper cups, and this is another problem that actually these guys ended up dying way before, my lack of consistency of watering, because actually they ended up drowning. And what happens is if you, by mistake, you pour a lot of water, and this is another problem for pouring water on the plants as compared to soaking the bottom of the cup and then the plants or the soil kind of absorbs the water. Sometimes you end up with a lot of water going in and it has nowhere to go. So it kind of like you end up having your entire plant kind of like drowning in water. And this is exactly what happened in this specific one. If you notice, even though it's dry now, but the color is a little bit darker because it got overwatered. And actually my son, he ended up kind of like, he thought he was helping, he's a toddler, and I wasn't looking, and he ended up dumping a big amount of water into this thing. The third problem, which I strongly believe a number of my plants ended up burning, like if you look at this guy right here, you see that's the burnt stem. And what happened with this plant is that I did put the liquid fertilizer, and I think I put it too soon, that it ended up burning some of my plants. They were not strong enough. And again, the other problem is I ended up, instead of soaking my plants like the bottom of the cup with holes and let it absorb, I ended up pouring it, so it went straight on the stem and it ended up burning. So these are the three major mistakes that I hope people will learn from and make sure they don't make these mistakes. You want to be consistent in your watering. You don't want to overwater or underwater. You want to make sure that you have enough drainage where the water, if you have excess water, it would actually go down. And as you're having those drainage holes at the bottom, you don't want to water from the top, you want to water from the bottom. So actually it kind of gets soaked from the bottom up, and then you'll be able to, dump away all the extra water or save it. And fertilizers, don't use them too soon. My plants are not strong enough. These plants might be strong enough, and they seem to be doing great so far. But the other ones, they definitely suffered a lot. These guys actually were doing great. And then you see that and that one. So make sure not to make these same mistakes that I made. Just gonna give you an overlook from the top. And you see a number of these guys are just dying out. And actually even some cups are empty now because the entire thing just kind of ended up dying and got mixed with the soil mix, that you don't even see the seeds or any sprout. So I hope you learn from these mistakes. Thank you for watching.